You are not undisciplined. You are negotiating with yourself, and your brain always wins. Every morning you promise change, and every night you explain failure away. You call it laziness, burnout, bad timing. It is none of those. It is a broken internal system, never designed to hold power under pressure. You feel busy, but nothing moves. You feel tired, but nothing is built. Your mind is not weak. It is strategic. It negotiates comfort, status, and relief with precision. When discomfort appears, it bargains. When effort is required, it delays. You mistake this negotiation for free will, not realizing the deal is rigged against you. There is a system that ends negotiation completely. Not motivation, not inspiration. A system used for centuries to force action when emotion collapses and excuses multiply. It does not care how you feel. It simply moves you forward forever. But there is a catch. This system does not upgrade who you are, it erases who you are. Your comfort dies first. Your excuses follow. Your social mask cracks. What survives is not confidence, but obedience to something colder than feeling. Once you see it, you cannot unsee what you are about to lose forever. Subscribe now, because this channel is not here to entertain you, it is here to rebuild you. Like this video so the algorithm knows this message must be shown, not hidden. Then comment your public declaration below. Write one habit, one behavior, or one weakness you are ending starting today. No explanations, no backstory, no excuses. By writing it publicly, you create pressure. Pressure creates action. Action creates identity. If you are still negotiating, stay silent. If you are ready to be judged by your future self, write it now. This moment marks the line between drift and self-command. Daniel is 34 years old. He works as an operations manager for a regional logistics company. His salary arrives on time. His calendar stays full. His days begin before sunrise and end long after dark. From the outside, his life looks stable, respectable, finished. Inside, his mind never stops running, even when nothing meaningful is happening. Every weekday begins the same way. Alarm, shower, coffee swallowed without taste. Traffic that crawls like punishment. He rehearses conversations that never happen and replays mistakes nobody else remembers. His body feels heavy, not from effort, but from neglect. His shoulders slump forward. His breathing stays shallow. And he tells himself he will get serious when things slow down. At work, Daniel is reliable. He solves problems others avoid. He stays late without being asked. Younger employees arrive with sharper eyes and louder confidence. They move faster, speak clearer, and expect more. Daniel notices. He pretends not to. He smiles in meetings and nods while something tightens behind his ribs. At home, silence settles before he does. His wife asks simple questions. How was your day? Did you eat? Are you okay? He answers with half sentences and distractions. She notices his absence even when he is sitting beside her. He scrolls his phone, not for pleasure but to avoid thinking. The room feels smaller every evening. You know this pattern because you live it. Nothing is technically wrong, yet everything feels delayed. Your ambition sits on a shelf labeled later. Your strength leaks out quietly. You tell yourself this is adulthood, responsibility, maturity, but something inside you recognizes the lie. Daniel tells himself stories. Once the workload eases, once the next promotion lands, once the weekend comes, each promise pushes action further away. Avoidance becomes routine. Routine becomes identity. He does not collapse, he drifts. That is worse. His body sends warnings he ignores. Tight hips, short breath, sleepless nights. His mind negotiates comfort with surgical skill. Skip the workout, order food, sit down. You earned this. He believes the voice because it sounds reasonable. This is not laziness, it is erosion. Day after day, small withdrawals drain something essential. No dramatic failure announces the loss. It disappears quietly, disguised as normal life. Daniel still believes he has time. He believes pressure will create urgency later. He believes motivation will return when needed. These beliefs protect him from one truth he refuses to face. Nothing changes unless something breaks first. Avoidance becomes the enemy, but it hides behind responsibility. He is not failing loudly enough to wake himself up. Yet. And because nothing has shattered, he keeps going, unaware that the system running his life is already collapsing under its own weight. Then an opportunity appears that demands more than avoidance can provide, and the life he has been quietly tolerating moves toward a moment it cannot survive intact. Daniel volunteers for a leadership presentation on a Thursday afternoon, convinced that confidence will carry him through what preparation did not. And he has done this before. Smile, speak clearly, improvise. The story in his head says, pressure creates focus. It has always sounded true enough to delay the work. The conference room is too bright, too quiet. Chairs scrape as people settle. Daniel stands, palms slightly damp, heart beating faster than he expected. He opens his mouth, nothing comes out. A pause stretches, eyes shift, the air changes, his voice tightens, the slides blur. He loses the sequence. A sentence breaks in half. His mind, usually noisy, goes blank. You know this moment. The one where time slows and your body betrays you publicly. A junior colleague leans forward, offers to clarify a point. The manager nods. The room releases its breath. Daniel steps aside. The presentation continues without him. No one laughs. That makes it worse. Humiliation is quiet. But it does not shout. It sinks in slowly, precisely, like a blade sliding between ribs. Daniel keeps his face neutral. Inside, something collapses without sound. Back at his desk, he stares at the screen. Emails arrive. He answers them on autopilot. His hands move. His mind replays the pause, the eyes, the rescue. Status has shifted. He feels it viscerally. On the drive home, the radio plays. He does not hear it. At dinner, his wife asks what happened. He says fine. The word tastes false. Sleep does not come. He opens his phone and searches for motivation. Quotes, videos, advice. Nothing lands, nothing sticks. The content slides past him like water. What appears instead is clarity. The clarity is brutal. He sees that confidence was never the issue. Preparation was, structure was, and he sees that he has been relying on personality to cover for discipline. That trick has expired. You feel this recognition like a weight, not shame, but exposure. The story you told yourself no longer holds. Daniel sits up in bed, eyes open, heart steady, mind alert. He understands that this moment cannot be explained away. Something has ended. The illusion of control, the belief that he can negotiate his way forward. What comes next will not care about his feelings. By morning, the humiliation has hardened into resolve. Not the loud kind, the dangerous kind. He does not know what to do yet. He only knows that continuing as before is no longer possible. The failure did not break him. It stripped him. It removed the last layer of denial. And in that exposed state, he becomes receptive to a system that does not ask permission. This is the moment when seeking motivation ends, not because he is stronger, but because he has run out of stories. What remains is a need for law, not emotion. Somewhere outside his normal world, an ancient answer exists. It has no interest in his confidence. It only cares about endurance, and once he touches it, there will be no going back. The question is not whether Daniel is ready. The question is whether he is willing to submit to something that will erase who he has been. The answer waits in the discipline he has avoided until now. That discipline will not arrive as encouragement. It will arrive as confrontation, a voice that speaks in rules, not reassurance. a structure that removes choice before choice can fail. Daniel does not know its name yet. He only feels the pull towards something older than his career, and older than his habits, a system that survived without motivation long before self-help existed. When the sun rises, he will begin searching. Not for confidence, not for energy, for a law that does not negotiate. That search will lead him to a teacher who does not care about his excuses. It will lead him to a Japanese philosophy that judges silently, one that demands endurance without complaint, one that has outlived empires and will outlast his ego. But before any lesson is spoken, Daniel must accept the verdict delivered in that conference room. That his current way of operating is finished, that what comes next will hurt before it stabilizes. This is where most people turn back. They seek comfort. They rewrite the story. Daniel does not. He sits with the discomfort until it becomes instruction. Because once humiliation is accepted, and it stops being poison and starts being fuel, and that fuel will carry him directly into a system that does not care who he was. It only cares whether he can endure what comes next. The answer will be measured in silence, ritual, and obedience. And the first rule will strip away the last illusion he still clings to, forcing him to choose structure over self-belief. That choice will not feel heroic. It will feel cold, necessary, final. And once made, there will be no return to the life that quietly suffocated him. Ahead waits an ancient system, unmoved by emotion, ready to judge him by endurance alone, beginning with a law he cannot argue with any more than gravity itself does. Daniel does not find the system through inspiration. He finds it through exhaustion. Late nights turn into early mornings spent reading, not for hope, but for explanation. He stops searching for confidence and starts searching for rules. That shift matters more than he realizes. The answer appears in a place that feels almost inconvenient. A small dojo tucked behind a row of aging shops. No banners, no slogans, just silence and the sound of bare feet on wood. The instructor is old, shoulders relaxed, eyes alert. He listens more than he speaks. When Daniel explains why he is there, the man does not nod or reassure him. He says one sentence: discipline is not emotional, it is structural. That sentence lands harder than any speech. The instructor explains a Japanese philosophy called gammon, endure without complaint. Not because it feels noble, but because reality does not bend to preference. Gammon is not motivation, it is law. It existed in Japanese culture long before modern comfort, recorded in warrior and monastic systems since before 1200 AD, when survival required obedience, not feeling. The instructor does not romanticize it. He explains that motivation is unreliable because the brain is designed to avoid discomfort. Modern researchers would call it decision fatigue. The more choices you allow, the weaker your execution becomes. Stanford and Harvard have measured this quietly for years. The Japanese solved it centuries ago by removing choice entirely. Daniel hears something underneath the words. This system does not care about his confidence, his mood, or his past. It only cares whether he shows up when told, whether he endures silence, whether he executes ritual when nothing inside him wants to. The instructor introduces the ancient Japanese system not as training, but as submission. Fixed wake time, fixed physical ritual, fixed silence. Same sequence every day, no adjustments, no optimization, no negotiation. You do not ask how you feel, you obey. Daniel resists internally. His mind searches for exceptions, work deadlines, fatigue, social obligations. The instructor cuts through it. Your excuses are not unique. They are predictable. That is why the system ignores them. This is where the confrontation sharpens. You realize you have been treating discipline like a mood, something to summon, something to feel ready for. The Japanese method treats discipline like gravity. It functions whether you believe or not. Daniel leaves the dojo unsettled. This is not what he wanted. He wanted tools. He received rules. He wanted encouragement. He received judgment. On the drive home, his mind negotiates again. Maybe later. Maybe another approach. But the clarity from his failure still burns. That night, he writes the rules down. Wake time. Ritual. Silence. He stares at the page. Part of him knows this will work. Another part knows it will hurt. The system demands the death of negotiation, and negotiation has been his identity for years. You feel this fear when structure approaches, because structure exposes who you are without excuses. It reveals whether you can endure boredom, discomfort, and repetition without reward. The instructor's final words echo: motivation is permission to quit. Structure is permission to endure. Daniel sets his alarm earlier than feels reasonable. He does not feel ready. The system does not ask if he is. It only asks if he will comply. This is not self-improvement. This is self-replacement. The old identity, built on flexibility and comfort. I cannot survive inside a system that removes choice. Something must be erased for something else to emerge. As Daniel lies in bed, sleep light and broken, he understands the risk. If he follows this system, he will lose familiar pleasures. He will lose excuses that protected his ego. He may even lose relationships built around his old self. But he also understands something more dangerous. If he does not submit, nothing will change. The humiliation will repeat. The erosion will continue. The quiet suffocation will finish its work. So he makes a decision that feels less like courage and more like surrender. He will follow the system exactly, not because he believes in it, but because belief has failed him. The ancient Japanese system does not promise happiness. It promises continuity, action without emotion, progress without motivation, and once begun, it does not allow partial commitment. The first morning will arrive soon. When it does, Daniel will learn the true cost of structure. Not physical pain, but psychological withdrawal. The brain will fight to regain control. That fight will begin immediately, and it will not be polite. The alarm cuts through the room at a time his body rejects immediately. Daniel's eyes open, then close again. For a brief moment, negotiation tries to rise. Just 10 more minutes, just today. The system allows none of it. He sits up because the rule exists, not because he feels willing. The first ritual is physical and cold. No music, no phone. Movement performed in silence. His muscles resist. His joints complain. His mind floods with reasons this is unnecessary. This is how withdrawal begins. Not from substances, but from comfort. On days 1 through 3 are chaos. His sleep fractures. Hunger arrives early and sharp. His temper shortens. At work, he feels slower, not sharper. The system offers no reassurance. It does not reward effort. It only demands repetition. You recognize this phase because it feels wrong. Progress is supposed to feel empowering. This feels like loss. His brain escalates tactics. You deserve rest. You are overcorrecting. This is unhealthy. The arguments sound intelligent. They are not new. They are survival reflexes protecting the old identity. By day 4, anger appears. Not explosive, but constant. A low irritation humming beneath everything. Daniel clenches his jaw in traffic. He snaps at minor delays. His wife notices the edge in his voice. She asks what is wrong. He says nothing. Speaking would invite negotiation. The Japanese method is working precisely because it feels hostile. It removes the dopamine feedback loop entirely. No streaks, no praise, no visible gain. Neuroscience would describe this as starving the habit of reward while forcing repetition until the identity rewires. The Japanese solved it without language. Endure long enough, and the system replaces the self. Week 2 intensifies the resistance. His body wakes before the alarm now, but his mind grows louder. Thoughts arrive fully formed. This is pointless. You are missing out. Other people live easier lives. The system does not argue back. It does not care what he thinks. He begins to notice something unsettling. Without negotiation, his mornings are empty. No internal debate, no bargaining, just execution. The silence is uncomfortable. It exposes how much of his identity was built from constant mental noise. At work, small changes register. He speaks less. When he does speak, it is direct. He does not volunteer explanations. A co-worker jokes about him being intense lately. Daniel does not respond. He does not know how to explain what is happening without weakening it. Physically, the fatigue shifts. It is no longer draining. It becomes steady, predictable. His body adapts faster than his mind. This angers his mind even more. The brain wants control. The system has removed it. By day 10, temptation peaks. Late night, long day. Old habits whisper relief. One skipped ritual would not matter. The system has no emergency protocol. Skip once and you reintroduce negotiation. He feels the edge of collapse approach. You feel this too when discipline threatens comfort. Not dramatic failure, but subtle permission. The thought that nothing bad would happen if you stopped. That thought is the enemy. Daniel endures, not heroically, mechanically. He completes the ritual with resentment, not pride. This matters. Pride would attach emotion. Emotion invites negotiation. Something begins to change quietly. Not motivation. Still no excitement, but stability. His mornings no longer require decision. His body moves before his thoughts form. This scares him more than failure ever did. By day 14, the anger fades slightly. In its place appears something colder, detachment. He observes discomfort instead of reacting to it. The instructor warned him this would happen. When feeling stops leading, execution takes over. This is not progress you post online. There is nothing to show. No visible reward. Are just fewer internal arguments, fewer excuses spoken, more silence. Daniel realizes the system is not building discipline. It is deleting his dependency on comfort. That deletion feels like loss, grief without an object. The resistance has not ended. It has retreated. It is preparing a counterattack. Because systems that threaten identity always trigger relapse next. Daniel does not know this yet. He only feels a fragile sense of control forming where chaos used to live. And fragile systems are tested brutally. The first real test will not come from exhaustion. It will come from temptation disguised as relief. When it arrives, it will reveal whether this structure can survive imperfection, or whether one fracture will collapse everything he has built so far. Day 18 arrives without warning. No dramatic collapse, no announcement. Just a long day that bleeds into night. Daniel stays late at work, fixing a problem that should have been handled earlier. By the time he gets home, his body is hollow. His mind is quiet in a dangerous way. He sits on the edge of the bed and tells himself one sentence. Just tonight. The ritual is missed. The silence is broken. The system fractures. Old habits rush back with frightening speed. Screens glow longer than planned. Food arrives without thought. Sleep comes late and shallow. When the alarm rings the next morning, his body hesitates. Negotiation is back. This is how relapse actually happens. Not with drama, but with permission. Daniel feels the panic immediately. A tightness in his chest. A familiar voice saying, "You ruined it. You failed." This always happens. The temptation now is not comfort. It is surrender. To quit entirely would feel cleaner than continuing imperfectly. You recognize this danger. One break becomes an excuse to abandon structure completely. The mind prefers total collapse over partial obedience because collapse restores control. Daniel goes to the dojo anyway. Late, quiet, ashamed. He expects judgment. He expects disappointment. The instructor looks at him, then at the clock. He says nothing for a long moment, then he speaks. You did not fail discipline. You exposed identity. He introduces a Japanese principle Daniel has never heard before, kintsugi. The practice of repairing broken pottery with gold, not to hide fractures, but to mark them permanently. The break is not erased. It becomes part of the object structure. This is not forgiveness. It is accounting. The instructor explains that the real enemy was never discipline. It was identity. Daniel believed discipline meant perfection. That belief was emotional. Emotional systems collapse under pressure. The ancient Japanese system assumes breakage. It plans for return, not purity. The relapse is not proof the system does not work. It is proof the old identity is still fighting for survival. Neuroscience would describe this as identity threat. When behavior changes faster than self-image, the brain creates sabotage to restore familiarity. The Japanese recognized this centuries ago without names. That is why continuity matters more than intensity. The instructor gives one rule. You return immediately. No punishment, no compensation, no emotional reaction. You do not apologize to the system. You resume obedience. This feels wrong to Daniel. Too lenient, too quiet. He wants penance. The instructor refuses it. Penance feeds ego. Return builds structure. Daniel goes home and executes the ritual exactly as written. No emotion, no redemption story, just repetition. The missed day remains missed. The system does not pretend otherwise. Something shifts in him during that silence. The pressure eases, not because he feels better, but because the stakes change. Discipline is no longer about proving worth. It is about continuity under imperfection. You feel this reframe land hard because most of your failures were not caused by lack of discipline, but by unrealistic identity demands. You quit because you believed a single crack invalidated the entire structure. The Japanese secret is colder than motivation and kinder than punishment. Breakage is expected. Return is mandatory. Over the next days, Daniel notices a difference. The system feels heavier, but more stable. He no longer tries to feel disciplined. He executes regardless of confidence. The absence of emotional judgment frees energy he did not know he was wasting. His mind still whispers, "You already broke it once. What's the point?" The system answers with silence and repetition. Over time, the whispers weaken. Daniel understands something crucial. The relapse did not reveal weakness. It revealed where his identity was still attached to comfort and perfection. That attachment is what must be rebuilt. Kintsugi becomes law. Fracture does not end the object. Abandonment does. This realization hardens him. Not emotionally, structurally. He stops narrating his progress internally. He stops measuring days as victories or failures. Days become units of execution. The old identity does not disappear immediately. It retreats, waiting for another opening. But now Daniel recognizes its voice. It speaks in absolutes, always, never, ruined. The system speaks differently. It speaks in return. By day 25, the ritual feels less hostile. Still heavy, still uncomfortable, but predictable. His body complies faster. His mind resists less. The relapse did something discipline alone could not. It removed the illusion that transformation is clean. It exposed the real work as continuity, not intensity. Daniel is no longer chasing a version of himself that never breaks. He is building a version that returns without debate. That version is dangerous to the old life he lived. Dangerous to the excuses that once protected him. Are dangerous to relationships built on his previous predictability. He does not announce this change. He does not explain it. He simply continues. The system has survived its first fracture. That means it can survive greater pressure. And greater pressure is coming. Because once identity begins to shift, the outside world reacts. and that reaction will test whether Daniel's structure can withstand not just internal resistance, but social friction. The next phase will not attack his comfort. It will attack his image. And that will require a deeper death than any missed ritual ever could. By day 30, something fundamental changes, not emotionally, structurally. Daniel no longer wakes up asking how he feels. His body moves before his thoughts organize resistance. The system runs without permission. This is what obedience looks like when it stops being dramatic. The ritual no longer feels foreign, it feels neutral. Silence is not peaceful, but it is familiar. His body adapts faster than his ego. By day 40, fatigue stabilizes. By day 66, behavior automates. Neuroscience calls this identity encoding, the moment when repeated action rewrites self-image instead of fighting it. Daniel notices the shift first in conversation. He stops explaining himself. When asked why he wakes early, why he eats differently, why he no longer joins late nights, he answers briefly or not at all. Explanation used to be a shield. Now it feels like leakage. At work, his presence changes before his results do. He speaks less, but when he does, people listen. He finishes tasks without visible strain, and he no longer volunteers to stay late unless necessary. This unsettles others. Familiar hierarchies depend on predictability. You feel this stage when discipline removes your need for validation. The absence of apology feels threatening to those still negotiating. By day 45, comments begin. You're different. You're intense. You're not as fun lately. Daniel hears them without reacting. Reacting would reopen negotiation. The Japanese system demands fudoshin in preparation even before it is named. An unmoving interior. At home, his wife notices the change most clearly. He is quieter, but present. His movements are deliberate. He listens fully, then acts. She asks if something is wrong. He says no. It is the first time that answer is true. The old self resists from unexpected angles. Nostalgia, comfort memories, the urge to reconnect with the version of himself that drifted. These are not weaknesses. They are identity withdrawal. The brain mourns what it can no longer access. Around day 75, pressure peaks socially. A co-worker challenges him publicly in a meeting. A subtle status test. Daniel does not defend. He states facts, then stops. The room shifts. Control does not come from dominance, it comes from not needing to win. This is where most systems fail. When discipline isolates, when approval disappears, when being different carries cost. The Japanese method anticipated this. Endure without complaint. Gammon was never about pain. It was about standing alone without collapse. By day 90, Daniel recognizes the truth. The hardest part was not waking early. It was letting the old version of himself die without ceremony. No farewell. And no announcement, just absence. You realize this death feels anticlimactic. No breakthrough moment, no applause, just a quieter internal space where excuses used to live. This creates a new danger. When the old self dies, there is nothing familiar to fall back on. The system must now sustain itself long-term, without mentor presence or novelty. The instructor withdraws deliberately. Fewer words, less correction. The structure remains. This is intentional. Dependency would weaken the system. Daniel understands the final test is coming, not in weeks, but in months. When motivation is irrelevant, when discipline is normal, when life offers no dramatic challenge to sharpen focus. That is when systems either decay or become permanent. The question is no longer whether Daniel can endure discomfort. The question is whether he can live without needing to feel special. The answer will not appear immediately. It will reveal itself quietly over a year in the way he moves through ordinary days with an unmoving interior. That is where this story is heading. To a place where feeling no longer leads action, and identity no longer negotiates with comfort. What waits there is not excitement, it is permanence. 1 year passes without ceremony, no countdown, no milestone celebration. Daniel still works the same job, drives the same roads, lives in the same house. From the outside, nothing dramatic has changed. From the inside, everything has. He no longer waits to feel ready. Mornings arrive and are executed. The Japanese system runs regardless of sleep quality, mood, or circumstance. There is no inner debate. Feeling has been removed from the chain of command. The mentor is gone now, not abruptly, but deliberately. Fewer meetings, then none. This was always the plan. Systems that rely on supervision collapse when supervision ends. Codes do not. The structure remains intact because it is no longer borrowed. It is internal. Daniel understands this is Fudoshin, the immovable mind. Not emotional numbness, not aggression. Stability under pressure. He experiences stress without drama, praise without inflation, criticism without collapse. At work, he is no longer chasing visibility. His consistency creates gravity. People defer without understanding why. Authority emerges when negotiation disappears. This is not dominance, it is reliability. At home, silence has changed shape. It is no longer avoidance, it is presence without noise. His wife notices it in small ways. He listens fully. He acts immediately. Promises are rare and always kept. You recognize the difference when discipline stops being a performance. There is no story to tell, no identity to defend, only execution. The old life that quietly suffocated him still exists, but it feels distant, unreal. The version of himself that waited for motivation feels like a stranger. Not hated, just obsolete. The Japanese system did not make him happier. It made him unmovable. That is stronger. Happiness fluctuates. Codes endure. Daniel no longer needs to prove anything. That need died early. What remains is continuity. Day after day, year after year, action detached from feeling. The story closes where it began, with silence. But this silence is controlled, deliberate, chosen. It no longer hides erosion. It protects structure. You feel the judgment in this ending because there is no inspiration left, no speech, no rescue, only the question that remains for you. Will you continue negotiating with yourself, or will you submit to a code that does not care how you feel? Daniel already answered. And that answer will outlast motivation, circumstances, and time itself. Subscribe if you are done consuming stories and ready to live under rules. Turn on the bell, because reminders matter when emotion fades. Then comment one thing only, the smallest next action you will execute today. Not a goal, not a plan, a single concrete step. Wake time, training, silence. One action removes negotiation. Do not explain why you chose it. Do not justify it. Writing it publicly creates pressure. Pressure replaces motivation. Motivation fades. Pressure endures. This is not about feeling inspired after this video ends. It is about what you do when no one is watching. Write the action, then execute it today, exactly as written, without waiting to feel ready.